Welcome back to the Black Tornado Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, then welcome. We're glad you're here with us checking out underground metal. I'm your host, Adam.
I'm Ian.
And just like every other episode, we're going to invade your ear holes with the finest in underground tunes. Let's jump right into music. We're going to go to a band called Invoking Winds. They're a folk metal band from first time we've ever played from here, Belarus. So first time band from Belarus. Song is called Bald Mountain. Proper black metal guitars. The clean vocals are really cool because it's not what you might be used to hearing when you're getting into folk metal, black metal. So I'm a real big fan of those guys now. That's the first time we've played a band from their area. I was thinking we really need to get like a globe and put markers on it from where we've played.
That's a cool idea. Get like a wall atlas.
Yeah. Get a big atlas, put it up on the wall, and put pins from. I mean, because we've really played everywhere. and we're only on, and this is only episode 6. So you figure by the time we get to say 50, for example, it wouldn't shock me if we have, maybe played from 40% of the world.
No, to be honest, I know there is metal that comes from that area of the world, but I don't really hear a lot of it because it's not really doesn't really filter into the Western world so much. And I genuinely was really impressed by that. There was a cool blend of death metal, black metal type stuff with some modern metal and a punk attitude on the vocals that was really brought something different. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really unique, and it was cool in the sense that, like you just said, that's an area that, for you and me and even people in the Philippines, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you probably haven't heard bands from that part of the world. Same thing with why the Philippines episode was so popular, because I had people in the States telling me how much they loved some of those bands and how they would have never heard.
It's the first metal band from Belarus I've ever heard, and they're the fucking... Even if they weren't the first Belarusian metal band I'd heard, I'd hazard a guess to say they would still be the best Belarusian metal band I've heard, because that was actually really fucking good. Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention while we were talking about it earlier, there's the end of that song I really like. There's a lot of instrumentation and stuff, layers, and it goes through a lot of different areas in one song. But they all fit together, and it doesn't feel like they're just yammed together. It actually works, and it's an interest. I genuinely really like that band. I'm going to be listening to that a lot.
Same. I'm gonna get deeper into Invoking Winds and probably become a regular band, just like a lot of the other bands we've played before, where I take deep dives into them and. We'll listen to a single band, for a week straight.
Yeah, that's
so anyway,
thing,
that is my thing.
You like to find a band and then just put headphones on and wank over them for a week.
Yes, I do.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. But that is the style of listening you do. You go hard on one band at a time.
Yep, and then I move on to the next one, and I learn as much as I can.
Yeah, and you'll go back to those other, but you really, whereas I'm the type, I tend to listen to an album through, go listen to some other stuff, come back again, listen to that album over a period of weeks and months. And the more times that album makes me want to listen to it, the better I find it is. Whereas you go really hard straight away.
Yep.
It's just a different style of listening.
Yeah, just, if everybody was the same, the world would be pretty boring.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. It wouldn't be boring if it was all me. I think things would get pretty interesting if the world was full of me's.
I do want to say that the music video episode is coming along really well. We're actually stacked with our 5 bands. Big shout out to Good Boy PR for helping us fill a spot. Thank you very much. We hit Good Boy. We hit all 5. So that's going to be coming, I don't know, probably about a month or so. We've got the collaboration video with Blood in the Cornfields is going to be recorded really soon. That will be debuting both on Black Tornado Podcast and Blood in the Cornfields YouTube channels. As always, if you haven't gone and subscribed to, in my opinion, the best horror movie podcast around, make sure and go and do that. Let's see. Speaking of subscriptions, subs, we finally hit 50. So clap for us. Thank you all very much.
Pat on the back.
That's right. A little pat in the back for us. Thank you guys so much for helping to grow the channel. It really helps us out, really helps bring new people over. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what the hell are you waiting for? You're listening to the show right now. Hit the subscribe button. Just do it while we're talking.
I'm going to be honest, though. It feels like we're doing something right, because it took me about fucking 5 years to get to 50 likes on Facebook. And so the fact that we've got to 50 subscribers in 6 episodes
means we're doing something correct.
I feel like we're doing something better than I do my music, which is, I'm happy to say my music's average at best. But this pod isn't. So, yeah.
Well, again, it's just like the old Black Tornado. Getting these kind of numbers didn't happen. Getting to 50. I don't remember how many the old had. Maybe it had 50, maybe more. I don't know. But I remember it didn't happen this quickly. So just like Ian just said, clearly doing something right. So we're going to keep doing whatever that is. Keep the train rolling. let's get into some more music. We're going to listen to Bipolar Architecture, which is a black and post-rock band. They're from Berlin. So first time we played them, song is called Death of the Architect. I really love when a band can make such beautiful instrumentals and then make it scary as shit with the right vocals. It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you've ever listened to Ghost Bath. So Ghost Bath, there's no lyrics. It's just this dude screaming like a mental patient.
Sounds like my kind of thing.
And it's scary as shit. I'll send you some Ghost Bath later. It's scary as shit. But I like the evolution of this song. It made it feel like a really wild ride.
Yeah, that to me is a really good example of what modern metal is doing at the moment in various areas. But and it doesn't surprise me once you said they were from Germany and they were from Berlin. It's got real old school black metal vibe in it, with the trem picking and then like long, but then there's a real modern production on it, and it goes into much more like modern progressive death metal, and the instrumentation and the drums and the vote, and it was just this huge wall of sound type modern production as opposed to the old school death metal wall of sound, which is a tin of bees in a box.
Yeah, very recorded on $4 equipment in the middle of the woods.
Whereas that's much more like of a modern leaning style production where they're like, no, we want all of that sound, but we want you to be able to hear it as well.
Well, and the individual notes and
exactly,
totally. As where a bunch of your older stuff, I don't know, man. I don't know how people tabbed half of that older stuff because I don't know how you're differentiating notes.
That band is just very, very me.
And what a cool name, Bipolar Architecture.
Well,
cool
funny
name.
enough, that's one of the things I wrote in my notes about this song was really great name for a band, Bipolar Architecture.
And the song name is good, Death of the Architect. That's a cool name. It reminds me of Magic the Gathering.
But also, though, when I listen to that song, the music is representative of that band name. Like when I started hearing the music, I was like, I get why you're called Bipolar Architecture, because it's a whole mash of stuff that shouldn't go together, and you've worked out how to make it fit.
Yeah.
And it works. Like it really does work when you put the work into how to put music together properly, and you don't just slam things together that don't really fit.
Right.
You can tell they've really gone, no, look, 3/4 of this section work together really well, but if you just play this instead of that, it'll really hit hard. And the guy's gone, all right, yeah, I'll do that. And they've worked on how to make it all click.
Yeah.
And it shows. It's worth it.
Yeah, so you guys did a great job with your music and a great job naming your band.
Yeah.
So good for you guys. All right. Ian is going to introduce our next band. And I just want to say that I have been looking forward to this for a very long time.
You might have been looking forward to this for a very long time. This has been an ordeal for me that's lasted technically over 2 years. The next song is by Little Old Me. This is coming out. This will be out probably by the time you listen to this podcast, unless you listen to it immediately on release, because it's coming out UK time, Friday morning. This is Shifting Sands by Demon's Run. I think if you like it, cool. But I can't promote it, and I can't like if you want to go to my Facebook Demons Run UK, go to Bandcamp. That's demonsrun.bandcamp.com. Buy it. There's a playthrough video coming out. That's going to be on our videos episode.
Yep.
You're going to unfortunately watch me reacting to me.
You're going to react to you. That's
which
awesome.
is like some kind of weird Inception music shit where like the whole physics of the universe has gone crazy, and I'm watching myself. At one point, I know, because there's like one point where it looks like I'm looking at me playing guitar, and I'm going to be watching me. But yeah, that was by me. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was a good track. I liked it. I've been a fan of Demons Run for like 10 plus years now, something like that.
I appreciate it.
And so anybody that doesn't know, that is how Ian and I met, because that's a pretty common question. How does a guy from the US and a guy from the UK end up doing a podcast together? Well, the original Black Tornado podcast before the reboot was just me, and I found Ian's music, I want to say through one of those thousands of metal Facebook pages, just trying to research bands.
It was either The Pit or Missouri Metal.
Yes.
They're the only two American metal pages I've ever posted on, I believe.
But I was also following UK ones. But you're probably right. It was probably one of those two pages.
Well, to be honest, the only other ones I did share on were Northants based metal ones, so the chances of you seeing those are pretty very slim.
Yeah, but I do remember following pages from pretty much every state. So the Missouri one, that makes sense. But regardless, that's how I found him. Originally played Demons Run. Ian's been a big supporter, since that moment, and then now 10 plus years later, we're sitting here doing the show together. So,
well, we skipped a few steps there, Adam. What happened was you made an incredibly good podcast for quite a few years.
I made an okay podcast.
No. You made an incredibly good podcast for quite a few years. But like, I got the message and was like from a random American guy saying, I've seen one of your songs and I'd really like to play it on my podcast. And I fucking nearly cried because like at that point, the only people that had actually heard any of my music were my friends, and I'd put some music out, but that only got shared to my friends on Facebook. They weren't sharing it to anybody else. And the fact that some random music fan had gone, no, I actually remembered your song and I want to play it to other people. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. So like, I messaged you back as soon as I possibly could and sent you the song and shit. And then we've been friends ever since, really. Like, I carried on following the pod, got to know a few bands that it turns out you're friends with, but I didn't know that, because obviously like Hail Shot are the example I'm using, but at the time you played Hail Shot on the pod and you'd said, oh yeah, they're friends of the pod. I didn't know until recently that you're actually friends with a couple of members of that. Yeah, like you've known those guys. Yeah, you're good friends with them outside of just, I know this band. So like, I've got to chatting to a couple of those guys separately recently through. So yeah, like it's all been a bit of a fluke, really.
It is kind of funny how all that stuff lines up almost chaotically. None of it was planned.
I mean, even if you think about it, how fucking weird and random is it that I just shared it to a Missouri metal page? Because like I didn't share, and as you can probably tell from the way I talked about my own song, I'm really uncomfortable doing promotion stuff. Like I'll share it, but I don't even want to say it to me. I just want to click the share button and like that's as far as I can go. And so like I was just looking for a couple of random music groups to share the thing to. Yeah. One of the ones that just automatically came, I weren't in the group or anything like that. I just searched metal groups on Facebook, and one of the ones that popped up was Missouri, and one was The Pit, and you had to follow them to post. So I clicked follow and posted in them, and I've posted in them occasionally ever since. But the fact that I just randomly picked those and you happen to be following those pages.
And I saw them on that day.
Exactly.
Because of how much stuff probably gets posted all the time, where if you don't interact with it, then it'll be gone because 50 new bands pop up. So yeah, really funny how the chaos of the universe brought all of this together, which is really cool. So anyway, backstory for people that didn't know. Ian's going to be debuting the video on Demon's Run page, and then it will also be here when we do the video episode for Black Tornado Podcast. So you have that to look forward to.
Officially, though, if you listen to this pod between what did we work out? 5 hours difference between me and you,
something like that.
Yeah. So technically, I release it on 7 o'clock Friday morning. So technically, there's a period, if you listen to this pod between 2 a.m. UK time and 7 a.m. UK time, you are guaranteed to be the first listener of this song because it won't even be released yet. There's a 5 hour period between this pod coming out and the song actually going up for sale. So if you're in that first 5 hours, congratulations, you really are quite special.
And we do have people where
not that you buy my song anyway.
They jump on right away. You know, they're there.
Oh, I know they are. When I get up every morning, there's views already, and I'm like, where the fuck? It's been out for 5 hours. Where have these views come from?
Maybe it's people working overnight shifts that when they're driving home from work, it's on.
Filipino buddies, I reckon.
Well, the Filipino guys, they're ready to rock and roll, man. They're
up 24 hours a day anyway, aren't they?
That's right. They're ready, man. New Black Tornado comes out, and they're like, hell yeah, let's go. And
they're not working them. They're making metal.
That's right.
Eating, and that's it. They don't do sleeping.
Nope, no sleeping in the Philippines. All right, let's get back into some more tunes. We're gonna jump over a band from Fort Wayne, Indiana. You're a handful of hours away from me. I was just in Fort Wayne with Corey from Ruthless Hustle. We went to Sweetwater together.
Oh, was it Fort Wayne you went to?
That's right. Went to Fort Wayne to go to Sweetwater, and that's where the next band is from. This is Snake Handler Church. The song is called Mother Nature's Postpartum Apocalypse. Really cool name.
walking and living through this, dying because of this, castrated, debauched, disinherited because of this. The fingers reach toward an unresponsive God. The fingers reach for the bottle, the pill and powder. We are born into the sorrowful deadliness. There will be open and unpunished murder in the streets. It will be guns and roving mobs. Land will be useless. Food will become a diminishing return. Nuclear power will be taken over by the many. Explosions will continually shake the earth. Radiated men will eat the flesh of radiated men. The rotting bodies of men and animals stink in the dark wind. And there will be the most beautiful silence never heard. Born out of that. The sun hidden there, awaiting the next chapter.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Those dudes fucking rule. Fort Wayne for the fucking win. Anybody that knows me already knows this is my bread and butter of music. Can't say enough good things about this band.
I feel like I'm slacking here. I should be singing like the Indiana State College theme song or something.
Which college?
Well, I don't know. Well, am I getting political here? I don't know. How many colleges are there in Indiana?
Well, a few, but the problem is you're going to alienate because the one college, they hate each other.
Oh, okay. Well, is there anything that everybody in Indiana agrees that they all love or hate? Is there a state that everybody in Indiana hates or loves?
We're not partial to Illinois drivers. We're not partial to them.
Fuck Illinois drivers.
See, now you sound like you're from Indiana.
Yeah, there we go. I'm in.
And the old saying that there's more than corn in Indiana, there's also meth.
Well, apparently there's also some incredibly good music because I genuinely really like
killer bands, but like, Snake Handler Church, Southern punk rock sound. I mean, that's just fucking badass.
Yeah, but there were like different stuff in there with that. Like what you're calling a southern punk, because like I wouldn't have called that. It's got definite punk in it, right? Because there was one point. I'm not gonna do it because I'll probably clip my mic. But there's a screamed like yeah, and that reminded me of. Do you know the Hives? They're Swedish, I think. Like pop.
Name sounds familiar, but I can't think of anything.
They did a song called "Hate to Say I Told You So," and the riff goes like. And the singer, right? He gives it the fucking beans all the time. And they're like 50 now, right?
Yeah.
And you see him now, and he still does that in that song exactly like that. And you can tell he's like, yeah. You're like, yeah, that dude still loves it. And the guy singing that song, you could tell he's proper locked into that. But there was also like good riffs in that. And that I get where you're saying the southern punk thing comes from. I'm guessing the southern area of that song, the influences in like that intro with like the draggy, like it's almost stoner metal.
Right.
Sort of draggy feel, groovy, but behind the beat, and then it comes in with that punky, which is to me quite a strange combination. But obviously, it's apparently a thing for you in your area that's quite common. But like here, punk isn't necessarily what you try and put with a southern.
No, right, and I think that's what makes these guys unique.
Yeah, I loved it.
because there's, I couldn't, and not just Fort Wayne, but Indiana in general, I couldn't tell you another band that I could compare Snake Handler Church to. They're very much.
Well, that's what my number one thing, and my mates will tell you this, but anybody who knows me quite well, I will praise bad performances, bad, almost bad music if somebody's attempting to be original. Like, I'm sure I've said it on one of the other podcasts. Don't be a photocopier.
Yep.
And the fact that you've just said, like, you can't name another band in your area that sound like them, that's what you're supposed to be doing if you're a band.
Yeah, it's very unique. And I agree with you 100%. That's what you want.
Listen to every member of your band and take every influence they've got and work on making them fit together. There's different ways to have a band dynamic work, and they're all successful. You can have one guy who does a lot of the creative work and tells other people what to do, and if everybody agrees that's the deal and they're happy with that, that's fine. But that guy, I think, should still, unless that guy is a real genius and is putting loads of different things together himself, the more common way is to split things between all your members and agree that everybody's got an equal share no matter what happens.
Right.
But you should always try and listen to at least what every member of your band is bringing that's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And try and work on that, because that song and that band is obviously a good example. If you actually spend some time and work on fitting those things together, you become a unique thing with a unique sound, and then people will hear it for 10 seconds and go, that's Snake Handler Church, that's Demon's Run, and it becomes an identifiable thing that then is your marketable, it's your product.
Your sound.
Yeah, but that's your product. And what do they call it? Your USP, your unique selling point. As a musician, like Slash is the perfect example of it. There's all the arguments around guitar players, whether Slash is the best guitar player in the world. But it really doesn't matter.
Right.
Slash is the most identifiable guitar player in the world, which is why he makes the most money. Because you hear half a second of Slash and you go, that's Slash. You don't even need to hear him play a whole note. You hear his guitar
right away
and the way he's playing it, and you go, that is Slash. And that is what they pay him the money for.
And there's only a handful of guitar players really that I think, like Hendrix, you could argue the same with Jimi Hendrix. I think you could argue the same with Angus Young. Only a handful of guitar players where they can play a note or two and right away you go, oh, I know who this is.
I'd definitely argue David Gilmour's in that category from Pink Floyd.
Gilmour? Yeah. I mean, like I said, you and I could sit here and come up with a list.
Really very, very, very few.
It's not a ton.
No, it's very few. But the point is that should always be what you're striving for. Like, otherwise, what the fuck are you making music for? Like, if your aim isn't to, at the end of your life, write the most amazing piece of music that everybody remembers, and they remember it. They remember the music, but they also remember you because of it. They don't need to know anything about your life, but they will learn about it in history because you will always be the guy who produced that piece of music. Like,
very true.
10 years after Bach died, nobody really cared about Bach's life.
Right.
But now there's people who study. There's people with degrees just in his life because he wrote the music he wrote. People have gone, oh, that guy must have been interesting, because you've got to be interesting to think that way. Yeah.
Yeah, to have that mindset. Totally.
All right. Original cunts.
The original, you cunts. All right, we're going to get into everybody's favorite.
Sorry, I'm just making you more English as the weeks go on.
I've used...
Bellend next. I've got to get you saying Bellend.
So I've used Bellend a few times, but I've used, you know what I use this last week? Because you said it on the 420 episode. It's the first time I've ever heard it.
They're good with us,
giving it the beans.
Give it the beans. You got to give it the beans.
I've said that 3 times last week.
Yeah, giving it the beans.
Nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, but if you say it the right way, They don't.
Well, like when you said it, I understood. Yeah, when you said it, I knew what you meant.
That's the point of it. It doesn't make any sense as a sentence, and it's not related to any. But it's the sentiment, and you give it the beans, and they go, I know exactly what you mean.
So I've used that in the way you multiple times. I'm gonna, 2 years from now, I'm gonna speak with a British accent.
The one Americans can never do that I always find is twat. Why can't Americans say twat?
Twat? I don't know. Well, we're probably going to have to
twat, don't they, on American telly?
Well, everybody says twat. Yeah, nobody says twat. God, I'm going to have to cut all of this out.
Nah, keep the cunts in. Fuck them. So we are going to have to cut that one, aren't we?
Anyhow, we're going to get into everybody's favorite part of the show. All right, Ian, got another question for you.
Okay.
Dear Ian, can you help me understand something? I want to talk about the scene for heavy metal.
Yeah.
Seems that here in the States, the want for heavy metal is somewhat spotty. How is the general consensus? Is metal really big? I mean, it has to be with your friends because you guys are a bunch of metalheads.
I'd say in this area especially, but I'd say actually in the UK in general, the metal scene as a whole is actually looking pretty healthy in the UK. Locally here, it's fucking solid, and it always has been for some reason, and it's never really wavered. Like there's always been a really solid scene of it's probably been variations of stoner based groove stuff around here for 20, 25 years, but like not in a boring way. It's not the same stuff coming out. There's grunge variations of it. There's gent variation bands of it. There's like 60s style rock and roll variations of it. Like there's people are taking their influence, but like round here, there's always groove is half of it. If you're talking, when you're talking metal, you have to be sort of, are we talking metal and are we talking
I think a general, just to, not a specific genre of metal.
I was going to say
heavier music.
Yeah, because like obviously heavy metal is lighter than metal, and I'd say actually heavy metal is even stronger in this country. There was a period probably in the 70s and the 80s here where it went away a lot. It went to prog a lot, and then in the 80s and 90s it was pop, and in the 80s, late 70s, 80s was punk. Then grunge took off here, but then new metal reignited the metal scene here. But the heavy metal scene sort of reignited in the 90s with Maiden and people like that. They had a resurgence and started doing festivals again in the 90s. And then by the time it got to 2000s, they were headlining every big festival every year. And because of that, there's always been young kids who've been able to watch that style of metal, the lighter end of it. So there's always been what I'd probably classify as rock bands, but most people would classify as heavy metal bands.
Sure, I think when you start cutting up,
there's a line
genres.
There's a line between heavy rock and heavy metal.
Right.
That is very blurred. Like you go from, like AC/DC, they're rock, but they're heavy rock. And then you go to Airborne, who are basically AC/DC with the gain up 2 more, and you class them as heavy metal because and so like there is a line there where they're very, very, but in this country, the metal scene, especially like in the prog metal gent area, there's a lot of amazing bands doing stuff like that in this country, and that's not on the unsigned front, but that's led at the minute by the big ones sort of coming through from this country that are gonna take off and are taking off there, a Sleep Token, and they're a good example of what I was saying. There is not another band like Sleep Token. You can't.
Yeah, again, very unique.
you can't classify them as anything, and that's why they're sort of becoming popular, I think, at the moment, because that's.
Oh yeah, they're going up.
Yeah, and I really like them because they're really creative and they're not sort of limited to much the same as what I try to be with my music. I don't list myself as a genre at all, and I try to avoid listing stuff as a genre because the way if you look at my Bandcamp page, I sort of try to differentiate the two sides of the music I make. I make long form instrumental music, and then I make heavier stuff with vocals that's sort of more heavy, just metal songs. The way you differentiate them if you go on my Bandcamp page is all the light music has a white cover. The metal songs have a darker cover.
I noticed that, yeah.
And that's a thing I chose to do because you pick up on that subconsciously, and you go, oh, they're the heavy ones, they're the light ones. And now I try to stick to that.
Right. Well, I hope Ian answered your question. That was from our friend the Hammer.
Yeah, sorry for ranting.
No, you're good. Hammer keeps. These are fun, especially on episodes like this, where usually we have a ton of stuff to plug, and not so much today. So with that being said,
with some more questions.
That's right. Hammer Ian with more questions. I like it. With that being said, we're already on our 5th song. This is Apathy from Aurora, Colorado. Song is called Premonitions of Winter.
You've got the living of it also. So what
So here's a band that's on a permanent hiatus, but I wanted to play them anyway. I really like the guitar in the beginning. It reminds me of Slayer. And then it moves into this like haunting poem kind of thing. And then back to heavier, thrashy kind of blackish riffs.
There's some good changes of paces in it. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. It really, and I think that middle section where that's the only way I can describe it, is like a haunting poem. When it goes into that section, I mean, you want to talk about unique. That's pretty damn unique.
I really, really like that. Like the intro really pulls you in from the start.
Yeah.
Like everything in it as well, though. It's not like one part of it. It's the drums. It's the instrumentation. Right. It's like all of it. And the vocal pulls you in at the start. And then, like you were saying, there's a change of pace, and it goes in the song. It goes from feeling like it's rushing to being a real grinder.
Yeah.
And like it swaps, and then like the clean section's got a real nice, again, change of pace to it in the right place with some really good supplemental instruments sort of stuff in there as well.
Yeah, it's really a shame that these guys are on hiatus, because they have plenty of music on their Bandcamp, but that was really fun to listen to. Maybe somebody will hear this and message their Bandcamp. Maybe they'll get back together.
Yeah, like they should, because like all of them, they were a good band. The singer especially stood out for me. Like while I was listening to it, he got 2 or 3 different styles of metal vocal,
right?
Because I don't know whether you know too much about metal vocals, like technical side of metal vocals, but there are different types of screams that have different techniques. They're not just like a sound. You actually have to physically do something to make that noise.
Sure. And that's why these guys that aren't properly, not to accuse them of this, but just a general statement,
it's why people cry their voices.
Exactly. Like what we were talking about, the band we were talking about earlier.
Just say it. It's fucking Chris Barn.
6 feet under. So anybody that
I want to kill you all.
Oh, that's better. I mean, you're not even doing it bad enough.
Sorry.
Basically, I played. Yeah, that's a little better. I showed Ian the latest 6 Feet Under end of a track, and I was just trying to make the comparison of, this is what happens when you stop caring. And then I sent him, which I already knew that he'd seen it, but just to prove my point, then I sent him George's vocals, which everybody loves George. George is the best. Sent George vocals from only a year or 2 ago, and it is so perfect. It's so good.
The guy's just a beast. And
this was a live recording of where bands aren't supposed to be as good. George is one of those vocalists. He's just as good, if not maybe better live.
But it goes back to what I was saying. That's a technique thing. If you get technique right, and that guy on that song, most people have got one strong area of their voice. If they're a clean singer, it'll be one strong octave. For me, you can probably tell from the podcast, it's the bass octave is my strong octave. I can't go much higher than that. I've got a bass and a mid. I've got a very narrow range, but clean singers will have a high octave that's stronger and they're weaker at the bottom, or vice versa. Metal vocalists, it tends to be they have one type of scream that they're strong in, and they can't do the others, so they won't do it, which is why you end up with bands where it's all to use the technical term, like fry vocals, but it's the same vocal distortion the whole way through, and you start going, Jesus Christ, do something else. Like, the song's cool, the rhythm's cool, the melody's cool, but just change it up with your voice. Do something instead of
for 3 or 4 minutes straight. Right.
Exactly. You can go from that to, for instance, I have 2 that I'm not strong in, but I rely on. They're my sort of go-tos. I have a low, and then I have what my mate calls the Danny Filth,
Oh yeah,
which is
yeah.
an old school high.
Like a shriek.
Like
Yeah.
I could chuck bits like that in for backing, and that helps fill stuff out, and I can use. But what I then do is avoid the ones I can't do at all costs. Whereas that guy in that song's used 3 or 4 real different vocal techniques, and he's solid in all of them.
Yeah,
and I was
nailed
like,
every single one.
This guy knows what he's doing.
So hopefully, if anybody from this band hears this, you guys should consider making more music. Well, that's it for us today. We, like I said, don't have a ton to plug. We got through our 5 tracks, told some stories, talked about music. Today, believe it or not, very Ian-centric episode. I kind of liked Ian. You took the reins on this one. I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. I think the fans
I don't mind talking. It's just I'm a bit uncomfortable talking about it being my song. That's all.
Well, I mean, in general though, you took the reins on this one.
I know. I'm good to talk. If you want to let me talk, just give me a subject and wind me up and watch me go.
All right. Well, we'll see you really soon. We actually have a lot for Black Tornado stuff. We're really busy. We have this episode. Cornfields is coming up. I don't know how long that'll take to edit. That's a little out of our wheelhouse with the extra people, but I'm going to get that out as quick as possible. We have the music video episode coming up real soon. That'll be the first time we give you something to look at. And then just before we hit record, we were talking about another, I guess you call it a theme, maybe. Another, the next
idea
thing, the next idea that we've got going on. I mean, for a podcast that isn't, we're not huge. We're very busy on our ends. We're going to bring you guys a lot more music. We're going to bring you guys a lot more interesting stuff. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it. I've been your host, Adam.
I've been here.
Take care. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.